The Oh So Lovely Talk Show. The Oh So Lovely Talk Show.
So lovely.
Thank you, James, for coming back to the So Lovely Talk Show and being our first ever guest in our original series. And now you're back here in front of us.
In real life.
In real life, not on
You're a
terrible
real
Zoom.
person.
Times have changed.
I know.
Times have changed.
They have. So I've just got a few little quick fire questions just to get us in the mood. And it's just a bit silly and a bit fun. So just say the first thing that comes into your head. Do you go balls deep into Christmas, or are you a bar humbug bitch about it?
I mean, I'm definitely a Christmas Eve shopper.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm probably in between. Bit of both.
Okay.
Bit of both.
Yeah. I find, I like to push you off to the last minute. And I'm a bit resistant to the whole festive season.
Surprises me.
I feel like it's like, yes, when it's December, but when people like get really excited about it, like at the end of October, I'm like, I feel that a bit weird.
Yeah, agreed. You have a lot of invitations to spend Christmas holidays with people. One's with your family, one's with friends, or one's to just spend it on your own. Which one would it be?
I would say with family, actually.
Yeah.
Basic bitch answer. But yeah, I would say family.
It's-
I mean, when I'm there on the day, probably I'm like, oh God. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm like, oh gosh, just give me 10 minutes. But yeah, no, I think you can't beat like a little Christmas day. Like you don't know what time it is.
Yeah.
You don't know how much you've eaten. You've had a nap. It's dark from 4, so it might be 4 p.m. It might be 8 p.m.
Yeah.
I do love that.
Yeah.
I do love that.
Yeah. So what would be your ideal Christmas meal? Is it the full trimmings, or do you like to mix it up?
I do love turkey, you know, but what I've realized is not many people actually do.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's really dry, but I quite like dry food, so I actually like turkey.
Right up my street.
Yeah, I actually love turkey.
So no sauces. No.
I like sauce, but I like a bit of dryness as well. A bit of dual texture, just like I like my hairstyles.
That's where we get the inspiration.
Exactly.
The gravy and the turkey.
Exactly. But I hate like Christmas pudding.
Oh, do you?
That is horrid.
I've never had Christmas pudding.
I mean, don't.
Why?
There's nothing to get excited by, literally.
I can tell. I probably wouldn't.
Just drown it in booze and burn it.
Yeah.
fire.
Well, that's what they do.
That is what they do, but no.
So Hallmark are making yet another gay rom-com based on your life. Who will play you, and will it have a happy ending?
Oh my God, who would play me? I actually don't know who would play me, but
Mr. Bean.
I mean, yeah, I was thinking like maybe someone a little bit sexy. Okay. The other day though, I was in America doing a show and someone came up to me drunk in a bar. Oh my God, I thought you were that guy from the Backstreet Boys. And I was like, oh, he must be hot. Googled him and I was like, are you actually joking?
Which one?
The gay one.
Oh,
Lance
that?
Ass, is it?
yeah.
What's his name?
Is it Lance?
Yes.
And I was like, have you seen him now? He's had like loads of work done. And I was like, oh, okay. So maybe he would play me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with a happy ending.
Exactly. Of course.
And if you were a Christmas drink, what would you be?
Do you know what I don't know if this is a Christmas drink, but this is my drink of the moment,
Mm-hmm.
which is that Lady Gaga red wine and Diet Coke combo with maraschino cherry. Have you tried it?
No, I haven't.
Because everyone is like, and then they try it and they're obsessed. And I literally had it last night. It's so good.
It's very European though, red wine and Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm. And apparently it's like a Japanese thing as well.
Oh, okay. It's everything. It's Lady Gaga now.
Lady Gaga, Japanese European drink.
Exactly. So that would be my Christmas drink.
That sounds perfect, actually.
Yeah.
Mistletoe on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on more of a serious note, James, what would be your biggest learn from this year that you would take into next year?
I think my biggest learn from this year is learning to say no to things.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken me a long time to learn to say no. And I think that's something that I will be doing in 2026.
Fantastic.
It's a good job I'm here now. No, I'm joking.
This would not be happening next year.
So I think, I think it's really important just to remember when you can't do things as well, you know?
Yeah.
saying that,
Mhm.
you know, there is this whole kind of conversation around, especially when you're like developing your career, that you kind of need to take every bit of work that gets thrown your way because, you know, you never know where it could lead you. By being a yes person, do you think that's potentially one of the many reasons that you've got to where you are now?
Yeah, I think if I think back to a few years ago, you know, I would do everything and I would go everywhere and I would stay late all the time and come in on my day off and things like that. And I would do that because I wanted to get to a certain level or I wanted to achieve something. But I feel like now I wouldn't do what I did do back then.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that I'm almost glad that I am from the era of like working too hard in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because now I feel like younger people have a much more healthier balance between work and life, which is great. But my focus was solely one thing. So I feel very happy that I was like that because it's helped me achieve what I have. But yeah, now I think I'm in a bit of a better position to be like, I just can't.
I'm tired.
I just can't. Yeah.
I'm tired.
If you were going to give advice to someone coming up the ranks then of a way of like building their career but without killing themselves, what bit of advice would you give then?
I think what I would say, and one thing that I didn't do was I wasn't exactly sure in the direction I was going. I just knew I wanted to be like a well-known hairdresser and I wanted everyone to think I was great. You know what I mean?
Great goal.
But I didn't really know whether I wanted to be like a session stylist or work in a salon or a salon owner or, you know, and I think a lot of time you almost get not pressured, but a lot of people are like, well, I do this, or, you know, you should go and own a salon or you should do whatever is like the norm at the time. But I think for me, I think as a young person, I think it's about just stay focused on what you want to achieve and don't do anything that won't help you achieve that, you know? And my friend the other day was asking me something and he was like, oh, I'm really struggling to think about what I want to do. And I was like, you just need to write it all down because it helps so much. You know, if you're, say, in a salon, you're not sure if you want to leave and go self-employed or stay in the salon, write down the benefits of both. Do you know what I mean? Because there's always plus and minuses. And I think that's the thing I would say as a young person is stay focused on what you want to do. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do that. But don't do anything that won't benefit that just to please other people. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the era that I'm from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So before we go deep into this, could you just give us a little bit of a roundup of your career, where you've come from and where you are now? And I know you've been a guest on us before. So just if no one's listened to that, just refresh our memories.
Yes. So I've been doing hair for about 15 years now. Started when I was like 17, really young, kind of grew my career from a tiny little town to being now global ambassador for Wella. So really, really fun. So my job is very different to a normal hairdresser. I haven't done a client in about 3 years. So I just do like trend campaigns, product innovation, shows around the world, education, everything really. So it has been a crazy 15 years, but yeah.
And actually, when we last interviewed you, we were in lockdown and you had literally just gone freelance, hadn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how has that been since we last spoke to you, being freelance?
I mean, I went freelance at the worst time possible. I think I went freelance in February and we went into lockdown in April.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. But I think it really did kind of motivate me because, well, you guys know that when you are self-employed, it is completely your responsibility to do everything when it comes to, you know, money and travel and everything, you know? So it has been an amazing journey. And I think 5 years ago to now has been probably the hardest time in my career because I've had to work so hard to get everything that I have. And I think that's the thing about being self-employed, you know, when you are working with a brand or whether you're doing education or anything, everything is your responsibility. And everything that you have is not because you're from a big salon group that buys loads of stock and they want you. It's solely because they want you as a person, which is amazing. But then it puts that pressure on you to perform and to be valuable to the brand you work with, you know? So I think over the last 5 years, I've really had to like hustle to get to where I am, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I feel like you went self-employed at a time when it was not so common, I would say.
Yeah.
Like now it's amazing because there are all these like co-working space opening up, and like there's a lot more conversation about it, and it's kind of, I would say, more accepted. In my eyes, I think probably even 5-10 years ago, there was kind of this like stigma of a self-employed hairdresser being maybe not as skilled or not as good.
Yeah.
How, with that stigma, how did you kind of come to the conclusion that was going to be the right thing for you, and that you could do it in a way that was still going to ensure that you got those goals that you were looking to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, like the industry and I mean, the world has changed so much in the last 5 years. But, 8 years ago or whatever, if you were like a self-employed hairdresser, you literally would go with like a tube of 6-stroke O and put it on someone's roots in the house, and you would just like comb it through to the ends for 5 minutes. You know, that, yeah. They wash it off themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They can deal with the damaged towels.
Exactly, yeah. But that was what it really was. You know, there wasn't like freelance hairdressers, or there wasn't ambassadors that were self-employed, and there wasn't co-working spaces. So it totally has changed. And I think I'm lucky that I was one of the first ones, I guess. But what I will say is everything that I've got from going self-employed is because I've kind of asked for it. And I think that's what people forget. I think a lot of people think, oh, this has just happened, or it looks easy. Because obviously on social media, all you see is like me in Australia or me in LA or me having like a really nice time somewhere. Whereas everything that I have is because I've asked for it. And my initial contract with Weller, who I work for, was because I approached them and I asked for it, and I told them what I could do for them. And, you know, I made sure that I had that. And I think it was like lucky at the time, because I was like very proactive, and I was the first ever like self-employed person they ever signed onto a contract.
Wow.
Because it just didn't really exist. You know, the business was salons, or it was like wholesale. There wasn't like a freelance business for L'Oreal or Weller, or so it just wasn't a thing. So I had to say like, this is the gap and this is what I can do for you. And it kind of went from there.
That's fascinating, actually, to be able to just do that off your own back. Did you have anyone help you put that together, or did you literally come up with that plan yourself?
So I remember this really clearly because it was at such a strange time. So, you know, like it's really clear in my head. I remember I was working in a salon 1 day a week, but like the salon was about to close for lockdown.
Right.
So I was working there on a Saturday, and I emailed the person who was like head of education at the time. She doesn't work there anymore. And I was like, hi. No, I called her and I was like, hi, I really want to be an ambassador. You don't have anyone who is creating social content, because if there's a trend that's coming up, obviously now it's so different that this sounds so basic, but like if there's a trend coming up, we have to wait 6 months before we do the content, whereas we need the trend to be out next week. Whereas obviously 5 years ago, they would shoot a trend campaign and then that was it. So if like a micro trend popped up, they'd be like, well, there's nothing we can reach.
Missed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
Oh, no, exactly. So I was like, you need someone who can like jump on the trend. And then she was like, write me a list of what you can do. And I remember I decided to go to the swimming pool, so I wasn't distracted. And I sat on like the sun lounger in the swimming pool, and I wrote everything down. And I was like, I can do this. It probably had loads of spelling mistakes. It was probably terribly written, but I probably had about 30 ideas. And I just sent it across, and they didn't reply. And I was like, oh God. And then about a month later, they were like, okay, we're going to put you on like a 3-month trial as like a digital ambassador. And they said it was the first time that anyone had ever gone to Weller with ideas.
Wow.
Ever.
That's mental.
Everyone else just goes, I want to be an ambassador, or give me this, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was the first time. So I think that is also something that's helped me stand out, is because even now, I'm like, I want to do this. We need to do this. You know, I've never stopped being like that.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of other people are like, well, what can you do for me? You know?
Yeah.
Whereas I think being a good ambassador for any brand is remembering that, you know, it's good when you need each other equally.
Yeah.
It's not just like one or the other, you know? But yeah, the swimming pool email paid off.
That's amazing.
Why did you choose to go to the swimming pool?
think it's because it was at the gym. It was a swimming pool at the
I'm
gym.
thinking that's the most unrelaxing place. I can just imagine children screaming. Like I'm picturing this wasn't that kind of like leisure centre.
No,
I
oh
think
God, no. No, it was like
that's what I've got in my head.
I
I'm like,
remember.
what?
I think it's because I like finished work and then the gym was like on the way home.
Yeah.
And it has like sun lounges and jacuzzi. And I was
Nice.
like, I just want to like be able to, because I'm a bit like, if I'm at home, my TV's on, I'm like going to cook. And I'm like, oh, I'll make a cup of tea. Oh, I'll do this. And then I'm just doing everything. I was like, I need to sit and write this properly, which I didn't. But I wrote them a lot of
But you wrote
information.
down some stuff and stared at water.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well. I think, I think even like now, like when I'm on stage or doing something, like I like to be like a relatable hairdresser, like I don't want to be on stage wearing all black or a suit or all of this. And, because it's not realistic anymore. Like I used to wear a uniform. I would not, if someone asked me to wear a uniform now, I'd literally be like, I'm not working there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's just not the way that it is now. It's changed so much. So I think even like, I'll send an email with spelling mistakes. I don't mind. You know what I mean? It's all about being relatable.
So you obviously had this like get up and go to like approach Weller and tell them what you could do for them. Is that something you've done before? Is that something that you're quite used to doing like throughout your life, not just in your career, but you good at going for what you want, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. I've kind of had that as like an upbringing, I used
That stemmed from your family, would you say?
Yeah, I used to be, when I was like young, I used to be like a professional swimmer. I was one of the fastest breaststrokers in the UK.
Oh.
And then I was a professional ice skater for a little bit, which is very random. Very gay. So.
I'm swimming and now I'm spinning.
Literally. Yeah.
Just snorted.
So I've always been like, I'm not, and I will still say this now, like, I don't care. I don't care about coming second. I don't care. Like, and I'm not that type of person like that's like, oh, you're a finalist, great. I don't care. I either win or I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's just the way I've always been. People like even now, and I probably should not say this, but I actually don't care. Is like when you're a finalist for like British Hairdressing Awards, you get like a certificate.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just put it straight in the bin. I'm like, I don't need a certificate. Give me a trophy or I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And that's just always the way I've been.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that's a positive. I think when I first started doing things, 10 years ago, like the awards and stuff, then yes, I would have been excited to be a finalist.
Yeah.
But right now,
You want to win.
I've been a finalist like 12 times. I don't care. Just let me win or I don't waste my time.
If you don't win, does it hit you hard?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that's different is, I think what I've learned is like, it's okay to be annoyed or upset because it costs you money.
Yeah.
Like it can cost you like £20,000. Like, you could literally fly business class to Australia and stay a month there in a 5-star hotel for that. And if you don't win, I'm like, I could have been on that flight right now.
By a pool or an ice rink.
Writing an email about the pool.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I think that's what's difficult. It's, you put a year of your time into something, you put effort and you call in favors for friends and you put like your creativity and your mood board and everything. And then if you don't win, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. But I'm not like someone who's like angry against the person who's won, because obviously they've won. So that's totally fine. It's more like against myself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just wish I didn't bother.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What makes you keep entering then?
I don't know. And my friend asks me this all the time. She's like, why don't you just stop? But no, I think the thing is, I think I've figured this line in my head, which you might like. And I'm like, only enter a competition if you're willing to be judged.
Ooh.
And there was a bit of a time where I was like, I don't think I'm really willing to be judged right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep, totally.
I don't really need someone to look at my hairdressing work and tell me if they think it's going to win or not. Do you know what I mean? And then this year I was like, I feel like I've achieved a lot with what I want. And I just think it just keeps you on your toes. It keeps you relevant, and it's just quite good for you to still be seen to do things. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it this year. I'm gonna try again. But we'll see.
Yeah, we were at Salon International and we were walking around the BHAs and I was like, that looks like James Earnshaw's. And it was.
And it was.
And beautiful.
you.
Yeah, but I think what's really beautiful about what you do is you can really tell your brand. Like, and I think obviously what we see online with your Weller work, there's very color focused, and even with that, you can just see a reel or see something come on, you know exactly who it is. How do you navigate through competitions and trying to keep true to your brand, but also sit into the categories?
Yeah, I think it's really tough. And I mean, I don't actually know the answer to that question. But if I win in a couple of weeks, then I might be able to answer it.
Okay.
But no, I think what's hard is, you know, if you're entering a competition, you naturally start to then look at other people and you start to look and think what they do. And that's something that I've really learned over the last year is to not do. So I don't really look at loads of other hairdressers' Instagram. I've got a lot of hairdressers muted.
Yeah.
A lot of them that my friends, they don't even know they're muted. But it's just like, I find that sometimes you can be like, oh, how is this person growing on Instagram really quickly? And how are they doing so well? And I don't even think their content's any good, or I don't even think they're that good of a hairdresser and they're doing really well. And then your head starts to go like this. So I've just blocked that completely out because, you know, just because you've got a huge following on social media doesn't mean that anyone's better than anyone. Do you know what I mean? You could not even have Instagram and have an amazing business that's making you loads of money and making you really happy. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with a competition. You could win a British Hairdressing Award, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are the happiest or the best hairdresser in that category. Do you know what I mean? So I think I've just learned just to like disassociate myself from that and just do what I want to do. Otherwise, I start to be like, oh, last year someone won with a bob, so I'm going to do a bob image, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. And then it kind of spirals into this thing where I'm not even doing hair that I even like.
Yeah.
So I've just learned just to shut off everything and just have some hot girls there and just do some hair that you like and hope for the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like the worst thing would be to spend all that money, do hair that isn't really you, and then not win. Like that.
That's the word. I mean, I've done that.
Yeah.
You know, I've done that before in competitions, and I think that's why I have quite a strong brand of like my look, because I come from the era of like you cut hair or you're like a colorist, and the colorist isn't really very cool or very good. There's usually like two. I remember back in the day, and you guys probably will from like being in a big salon, there'd be like 2 colorists and like 10 hair cutters, and the cutter would be like, you do these highlights and you do this toner and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Mental that the person cutting inside would direct what the colorist would do. Even though they have no colouring background as well. It's quite mental that was a thing.
It's crazy because I remember when I was an apprentice, I was literally taught, if it's a bit yellow, put PO2 on it. If it's a bit orange, put PO1 on it. And I didn't even know what that even meant. But I just knew that it was that blue can thing. Do you remember?
Yeah.
That's the last time I've used L'Oreal. But literally, I was like, okay. And then I would just wash it off and be like, oh, it looks a bit yellow. And then if it's a bit yellow and orange, you mix them together. I see what you're doing here.
I get it. Moment.
But there was no even talk of like depth or tone or anything like that. It was just, that's how it was. And I think because I came from that era, I was always into like styling, like longer hair and color. So I was like, it was like mainly like people like Patrick Cameron who did like bridal hair. That was like the focus of that. So I really was like one of the first people who would be into longer hair. And when I first started doing things, I used to do like really weird, silly short haircuts just because that's what everyone was doing and it was cool. So when I kind of started doing that and not really getting anywhere, I think it was like about 10 years ago that I was like, right now, I'm just going to do hair that I like. And if it's longer and it's seen as not cool, because I think there's the word commercial at one point was very like negative. Like, oh, it's just, you just do like commercial hair. And I'm like, I would rather do a commercial TV advert and make a lot of money than something for a fashion brand, stand there all day and get paid £100 personally. If you want to stand there and still do that, that's fine for you, but I do not. So I think I came from the era of like, I liked more commercial where the girls looked like hot. And I liked longer hair and I liked like pastel tones and stuff. So no one was really doing that. So it was quite a good point to be like one of the first on social to be like styling and colouring. So I think sticking to that has helped.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Ollie said, like I think we were talking about it on the train. I actually don't know if I can think of anyone, and except for you, that has created a brand where you literally look at the image and will know exactly who's done it.
Oh, stop it.
Like
Oh.
genuinely, like I can look at images and be told that someone did it and go, oh yes, I see that now.
Yeah.
But there would always be a slight doubt. It could, could be someone else. Whereas with the work that you do, like genuinely, James, it's so impressive and amazing that you've created this brand that literally it is you, like you undeniable,
Yeah.
like it stands out a mile.
Thank you.
And sometimes, like we could be at but we're looking at the images that you've entered. It just stands out straight away. I can be in situations where I've been faced with lots of images of different hair and it's just so clear that it's you. And I think that one, it's beautiful hair, so that helps.
It's always a bit fluffy. It's a bit fluffy.
But it's beautiful. As you said, exactly as you said, you're making people look good, like you're making them look their best. But the fact that you've made it look, you've put your stamp on it whilst doing that commercial hair, it's quite incredible. How do you think you've got to that point? How do you, like, obviously you know what you like, but then how have you kind of navigated it to really fine tune it so well?
I think the number one thing I would say, and when anyone asks me for advice on any competition work or a shoot, I'm like, does she look good with it? Like, it's such a simple question. Does she look nice with a green bob?
Yeah.
Or does she look nice with a purple shag cut? Like, do you know what I mean? Has she got like the personality and the skin tone and the eye color and the face shape to actually pull that off? And I think one thing that I've been quite lucky at is being able to understand like skin tone and face shape and what suits people. And I think that has helped because I don't necessarily, I've seen a lot of people who do absolutely amazing hair.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I don't know if she looks her best with that hair.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I feel like I've managed to build up quite a good kind of bank of models that are open to different things, but they still know that I will do something that like maybe suits them or works with them. But I think, it's come from working with a great team of people that, I know that hair always looks good on them, and also staying true to what you like. There's certain color brands, even in like the portfolio of Weller that we use, that I just don't really use because it doesn't really suit my skill set. And I think I just don't really do anything I don't do the shoots for those. Do you know what I mean? I think that's really important to stick with what works for you. And that's the same when it comes to your aesthetic. So I don't really know how it happened, but the hair always looks a little bit fluffy or movable or winded or whatever. The tones were always kind of just a little bit interesting, I guess. But I think that's just how it came around, just from trying that, I guess. But I've tried this year to kind of push myself even more and do some like edgier, cooler things. But I think whenever I do that, I tend to pare back like makeup, or if styling's a bit more edgy, then I'll pare back like the tone of the color or the clothes, just because I think sometimes it can get a bit crazy.
What is edgy to you? What does edgy?
That is a question, isn't it? Because edgy to some people literally could be like the fact that it's like, I don't know, you've got like a fringe, or you've got like, it's so subjective. Because edgy to me and 10 other hairdressers is totally different. But I think I've just tried to push it into something that they're not just like, oh, James just does pastel hair and a blow dry. Do you know what I mean? I've tried to make it more like cooler. And that's the thing as well. And not many people really team like color with like styling. So in Italy last week, I did like, she had like a bob, and I like left the bob out underneath and then did like 2 long ponytails that were like pastel dipped, and then she had studs on her hair. That sounds like a lot. That description is not really very pared back. Yeah, so that look was quite pushed for me. But not many people think about styling hair in like an editorial or whatever way with color. Color's always kept like for a haircut or like a blow dry. But I think like just trying to think of things like that keep your work kind of fresh, because that's the thing. I've been in the industry for quite a while, so you don't want to just become someone that's like, oh, we know what James does. It's always the same. I think you have to keep evolving.
What's your process when so you clearly have a really strong aesthetic. So when you're putting things together, maybe you're doing your BHA shoot, do you have a team that you automatically go to, or do you always try and change things up so that you're keeping things fresh, or do you find your tribe to work with?
I think I have a bit of both. So I have like a makeup artist that's like my best friend that I use for everything because she's amazing. And then I have a few different assistants with different skill sets, you know, one that's amazing at color, one that's amazing at like extensions, one that's amazing at cutting. So I have that like my core team, and then I do kind of change it up for the others. And I think that's the thing. I think you need to find a team of people that like the hair that you like, but also will help kind of push you. And even when it comes to like my social media, I have a girl who films my social media for me. And she's like 24, 25. She's a model. So she's really great because she knows other models and it's easy. But she'll be like, oh, have you heard this trending song? And it's like this horrible song that I'm like, oh, God. What was it she put? And then she posted on my TikTok, you know, the song that's like fat, juicy, and wet.
Yeah.
And I was like, who posted that on my TikTok and what is that? But obviously she is like, it's cool, it's trending. And it got like 4 million views. It's like, and literally it was like a pastel ponytail. And
But it's
like,
juicy and wet.
So I think having people around you also that can like help, you know, she's like 10 years younger than me. So she has like cooler ideas.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, oh, you need to film with like the model doing this, or like this is trending and this. And so it's good to have those people around you as well.
Yeah.
Because they help you look more relevant.
Yeah.
You know?
And so even though you thought that was a really bad idea, you had trust in her that
I
would
didn't
be.
even know that she posted
Oh,
it.
right. Trust.
So she she has the login to my TikTok. So I do all mine on Instagram because I like Instagram a lot more than looking at TikTok, and then it came up and it was like that, and I was like, oh my God. And I messaged her and she was like, it's cool. And I was like, okay.
Fine. When you're coming up with your concepts for like what you're going to do for your look, maybe for your collection or whatever, do you practice it on people, or do you practice it on tuition head, or do you just go in on the shoot day and just go for it, or what's your process of that?
I think it's a bit of all three of those. A bit of all three. It depends what I need, whether I feel like I need to practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think especially when it comes to like color tonalities, like I think I've mixed pretty much every combination of Weller products together that is possible. So I'm like, I can make, you know, if I need a lilac or a purple or a blue, but I'll always swatch. I'll always do a little swatch. Like I did an acid green color about 6 weeks ago, and that took quite a bit of swatching because it's such a hard color.
Yeah.
Put a little bit too much green in, it goes like forest green. If you put a bit of yellow in, then it goes really, it was like really difficult. So I will definitely, if I feel like I really need to, I will swatch for ages and try different things. And again, with styling, I did like a beehive thing the other day, and I was like, that I need to practice that because it's been a while. It's been a while. And then Patrick Cameron was hosting it, and I was like, I'm doing a little vertical roll in front of Patrick. And he was backstage, and I was like, Patrick, I'm doing a vertical roll, feel free to judge. He was like, make sure, I can't do a New Zealand accent, but he was like, make sure I don't see any pins. And I was like, okay. So yeah, I practiced that.
Yeah.
Then it was a lot easier on the day.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just sometimes you're like, oh, now I know that I can't do it. I feel better because I know that I can have to practice it, or now I know that I can, I feel better because it's easier. So yeah, a bit of both. I practice, I'll do some color swatching. And also I think the good thing about color swatching is you might think that something looks nice at like 9 o'clock on a Thursday because you've been swatching it all day.
Yeah.
And
You
everything
come back
else,
to it. Like,
and everything else was quite horrid. So that one looks nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the day after, you like, just don't even do that because I just put all those swatches away.
Yeah.
remove that.
Yeah. So I think that's good. And that's the same with like social. If I'm doing like a video that I'm like really happy with, I'll like put it in my drafts and I'll post it probably the day after.
Mhm.
Because then when you're rewatching something with fresh eyes,
True, yeah.
you can be like, oh, do you know what? That needs to be shorter and this can be more interesting. Whereas sometimes you just get so excited in the moment that you want to get it up or put the toner on that you've not really practiced, and then it doesn't necessarily go as well as you thought.
So I'm just going to go back a little bit because I'm fascinated by what you're saying. But as a freelancer, where are you doing all of this? Have you got a studio? What's your setup?
So one thing that I am lucky is the fact that I moved to Manchester.
Yeah.
And we have a Welsh studio there, so I can use it pretty much whenever. But I have a studio room at home. So in my apartment upstairs, I have like a duplex and I have like a backwash and a really nice studio space. And the reason for that is I was like, do I really want to have a space somewhere else? I don't really know. I don't really know how this is going to go. And then it just ended up upstairs in my apartment. And it's quite nice because I have like all my model wardrobe there. So like I might just, for example, my friend came around the other day and I was just trying on clothes with her for like 3 hours, different clothes for like shows and stuff. And it's kind of easier when you're at home.
Yeah.
But then it can be a bit annoying because you're like, oh, I just feel like I need to shut the door.
Yeah.
And also if the model's annoying, then they're in your house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really have, because I work with this agency that's amazing, but I won't really now be like, if I've never met them before, have them around my house.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, just honestly, like if someone's annoying in the salon
Yeah.
or hard work on set, it's fine. But I can't describe to you how annoying it is when they're annoying and they're like on your sofa.
So what do you do then? Do you like put like poison in the coffee or like what's
Just like, no, I don't really have that many annoying people anymore, but I've learned, you know how it is.
Yeah.
I was in Dubai last week for a show and they were already pre-casted and shown pictures. I literally sat the girl down and I was like, hello. I went to take her hair out of the bun and she was like, no, you're not taking my hair out of the bun. I was like, sorry, what? And all of the other 4 models were so lovely that I was like, oh, she's going to be nice. She's like, no, you're not taking my hair out of my bun. I'm going for dinner tonight. And I was like, you're at a hair prep day. What do you think is going to happen? Like, and then she was like, I'm not going to let you touch my hair until you show me exactly what you're going to do. And you can only cut like 1 inch off my hair. And I was like, okay. And then the team there were like, we've showed her the pictures on the wall. We've shown her. So she's just being annoying. And then she was like, I'm going to show you a picture of my hair down. And I said, but you can show me a picture, but I need to physically touch it and see it to know, you know, your face shape and your skin. And she was like, no. And I just literally went, just send her.
Yeah.
I
Just
can't. I was like, I just can't deal with it. And I think that's the thing that, you know, people don't understand when you do these shows and shoots and everything. They don't know what's going on behind, and they don't care. What's on behind the scenes. You just have to perform.
Yeah.
But you know, the amount of times I've gone to do shows where the people literally like no color, and you're here to sell like a new red collection.
But as you said, the people that are watching it and running it, they're like, they just want to see that red walk down the wrong way.
They don't care. That is exactly it. And that's what I've learned. You know, they don't care if you're ill, if you're tired, hungover, of anything,
jet lagged,
anything. You have to perform, and that is something that I don't think many people get. You know, when they see the glamour of things, like you know, I remember I've had like 2 hours sleep, and I've gone on stage, and people are like, "Are you okay?" And it's hard.
Yeah,
you know, it's hard.
Well, it's always that thing. That window of glamour is so tiny. And the hours and hours and hours of prep and organisation, sweat, blood and tears that go into that one moment is ridiculous.
Yes, exactly. I think that's why it's really good to have a team of people around you that you trust. You know, because even if you're exhausted and the models all don't want their hair coloured for a colour show, and you're in a country where no one understands what you're saying, but at least you've got like your makeup artist that you have. So at least they're going to have nice makeup on. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or do you get moments of imposter syndrome? You walk into an environment, you're like, what the AF am I doing here?
I do get times where I think, what the fuck am I doing here? But I think that's more... I don't know. I feel like when it comes to shows and stuff, like, and events, like, I think I feel like, okay, like this is fun, like this is what I do really well.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes when you go to like the after party event and people like country where they don't necessarily have like, well, in America obviously they're very like, they don't care, they'll come up and they'll like grab you and they'll, do you know what I mean?
Right.
But like I remember I was it Estonia, and I had like every single person in that room wanted a picture with me, and they were queuing and waiting for me. They were like, whenever he's ready to stand against the wall, and then must have had like 120 people for a picture.
Wow.
And it's just funny. Like I just find it hilarious because I'm like, why? It's just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I have things like I had to cut a cake. This is what no one tells you about.
Right.
I've
So
never had this.
I have actually cut a cake, weirdly. That was in India once. Cut a cake.
in countries where you're like, it's not necessarily like
Right.
Yeah.
It was on that toy, Latvia, I think. Like in Latvian tradition, it's not a celebratory event unless there's a cake cut.
Right.
So everyone has to. So I had to like cut. They were like, right, you're gonna use this huge knife in front of and like cut it on stage. And I was like, are you joking? And then in India, they were like, we're gonna teach you a dance move on stage, and like no one prepares you for like this weird stuff.
Yeah.
That you have to like be like, yeah, sure. Do you know what I mean? I think that's like really taught me. I don't care. No.
Yeah.
You know, like that night, the event I went on my own. Just don't care.
Yeah.
You just don't, do you? You just it's removed any like I'm literally like, yeah, I'll cut the cake, I'll dance around.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. I'll do it all at the same time.
Yeah, literally.
Have you ever done like a look or done something on the model and then not liked what you've done?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
How do you get past that? What does James do? Do you crumble? Do you pull something out of the bag?
People always say to me as well is they're like, oh, all your work is amazing. They're like, everything you do is so good. I'm like, it's not. It's just that's what I post.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's bad, I don't post it. So I think that's important to remember on Instagram.
Yeah.
You see this perfection.
Yeah.
You know, there's some looks where like, or some where I'm just like, oh, it's fine. It's just not that interesting to post.
Yes.
Not everything is Instagram worthy. But when it comes to bad looks, we all make mistakes, I think. Even now to this day. And I think, do you know what I always do? Not always, actually. I sometimes get annoyed about using the wrong developer choice. That really annoys me.
Right.
I don't know if it's the same conversion in the color brands that you use, but like, say, for example, we have like 1.9%, 4%, 6%, and the results will be really different with tone and color. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use 6%. And then I'm literally like, oh,
shouldn't have done.
Should have used 4, and it will make such a difference because 6% is for brightness, 4% is to darken.
Right. Okay.
So I'll be like, you know, sometimes you're like, I want it to be darker, but I also want it to be bright. So I don't know which one.
It's going to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
go for it. Yeah.
So, and then I get really annoyed at myself because I'm like, oh, I should have used a different developer.
Yeah.
So things like that bother me, and then I'll look at the image and be like, it's fine, but it would look much better if it was more intense because I used 6%.
Yeah. How do you, so like, obviously you like to win. So I'm just imagining you like wanting to nail this. So when you don't and you've chosen the wrong oxidant, how do you just, is it like a quick loss? Do you just remove it from your memory and just move on? Or do you dwell on it for a while?
No, I think I just, and I always go into my head, remember this moment for next time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, remember this developer choice for next time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't really dwell on it. I mean, I haven't like, thing is though, you don't ruin someone's hair with a developer choice, but it's just not exactly perfect.
Yeah.
And it's the same with like when I'm doing like cutting and styling or whenever I'm filming content, when I'm looking to post the content, I'll look back and be like, oh, you know, I could have maybe brushed that out better, or maybe cut that a bit shorter. But I think everyone does that.
Yeah.
It's like self-critical.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there anyone that you would work in front of that you would be like nervous to watch you work?
Not anymore.
Amazing.
Not anymore. I think once I think I've done it in front of like some intense people.
Yeah.
But I think it depends what it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like a singer. like they could probably sing anything in front of someone, but you wouldn't want to sing that singer's song in front of the singer.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
because I'm looking at Tony Braxton.
And me.
Yeah, exactly. And you're lovely. So lovely image. But yeah, like you would, there's the famous thing of like Mariah. Yeah, it's the famous thing of like Mariah Carey hates when people sing Mariah Carey in front of her, don't
Yeah.
they?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's like I wouldn't necessarily want to do like, I don't know, like in front of Patrick Cameron,
Yeah.
a perfect vertical role.
Mm.
Because
That's why I asked that question, because I
Yeah.
was like, surely that puts the pressure on. doesn't
Yeah.
it? But I guess you're
exactly.
doing your version,
But
your
then,
take.
yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing. What I've realized as well is like everyone that I've met that's like really successful has been really helpful and really nice.
Yeah.
I've not met anyone that is like, you know, that I would see as someone who's like a legend or really high up that you couldn't go to and be like, oh, Patrick, I've just tried this vertical roll. I can't get the ends in properly. Can you come and help me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
actually would.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing. If I went to you and I was like, oh, I can't get this red bright enough. What would you do? You would help me do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would. I've been on your podcast. So I've learned to kind of think of it more of like they would help you.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't think, now this might just be me in my own world, but I don't think there really is that much anymore of like, oh, well, you're from Weller and I'm from L'Oreal, so I'm not going to talk to you. Now.
Unity.
Yeah, than
Yeah.
there was a few years ago.
There's
I would
definitely
say.
been a cultural shift within our industry in that respect, for sure.
Mhm.
And I do think partly that is people going more self-employed and being more independent. And also, I mean, COVID did do that to a massive degree. I feel like we were all put in an alien position that we didn't know how to communicate or talk to each other. Hence why we started a podcast. But I think that's where it all comes from, really, as well. It's like you have to move forward, and especially if the whole industry is shifting, then you have to shift with it.
Mhm. Totally.
Yeah.
I think it's only when you start. I don't have that attitude, which is great, and I think whenever you start to have that attitude of like, well, what I do is great, and it needs to just stay that way.
Yeah,
That's when it's quite a dangerous territory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I've worked with people like that before
Yeah.
that are like, well, this has worked for me for 25 years.
yeah,
And it's going to work for me now. And I'm like, but that is the worst way you can be. And that's why I think it's always important to, even if you think your work is great, to move it forward. And I think
Yeah.
that's why entering competitions and doing social media and
Yeah.
doing shows and looking
Yeah.
at what everyone else is doing always helps you do that. Whereas
Yeah.
if you stay in your own world and think that you're like amazing, then it's not going to be good long term.
Yeah.
You know?
100%,
Yeah.
100%. Well, James, we have talked for ages, and it's been fantastic.
I don't feel like it feels like ages. Has it been ages?
Yeah.
No, I don't really know.
Got lost. We don't know what day it is. You're like,
I don't even know what developer choice to use. I don't know what time it is. No, I do.
all you do know is you probably need to either get by a pool, or I just want to see you on an ice rink. I just need to see these things. And
I love
the next meeting needs to be there in the middle.
I feel like
Started doing it again.
Have you?
You.
No, not in 2020.
Yeah.
Oh.
Started and then went into lockdown. But I got proper good again. It's like riding a bike, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sure. So I want to, but because I'm self-employed, I am not risking a broken
No.
arm.
Yeah, no, I
When
get
you're
that.
employed, fine.
Can I just ask one question, actually?
Yeah.
Do you have any hobbies that you do? Like,
Do you know what? Do I have any hobbies? The only hobby I really have left that I do other than hair is just spin class.
Ah.
Yeah. I just think it's, do you know what? Why I love it is because you are not allowed to take your phone in that room. And there is nowhere in this place where I don't take my phone.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to change that,
yeah.
but I'm clearly not trying because I don't. So I feel like a spin is just so good because it is like an hour where you just zone out. You're not thinking about hair. You're not thinking about work or
Yeah.
bills or boys or girls.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
You're just going for it and you're not on your phone. So yeah, spin is my thing at the moment.
Love that. That's
Fantastic.
why I like Reformer, because you have to have your
Yes.
hand in the thing, so you can't pick up the phone.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
As you get,
I need to start. I need to start doing that.
it's great actually.
It's hard, right?
It is hard, but it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like spin is probably harder. I wouldn't do spin.
Okay.
Last time I did it, I fainted. So that's
Someone failed on Saturday. Actually,
Yeah. I get
Oh.
that.
it's a hard class.
It's
hard
hard.
class.
It's hard.
Are you like at the front? You're like, I'm so good at this. I know exactly what's coming next. Like,
Do you know what? I went through a real body combat and body attack phase.
yeah.
And I was like the annoying. I used to go at the front on the right. And if someone was in my position, I would just walk straight up to them and go right next to them until they moved away. And it was
This is my spot.
Even if it's like a 70-year-old lady out of the way. And I would know all the choreography. And then, when you start to do that, I'm always this person, maybe I should be an instructor. Maybe I should, you become, and then you
Yeah.
realise that absolutely not. Absolutely.
There's definitely that competitive James comes
Yeah.
comes through. Well, thank you very much, James. Thank you for joining us on the So Lovely Talk Show.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I love you.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you for
guys.
your time.
Of course.
And so many amazing bits, nuggets of information
Yeah.
there that I think is actually really useful for me actually in building my career. But I think the amount of people listening to this were just so inspiring to listen to. And I can 100% see why you've got to where you are. You deserve it so much. And I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Thanks so much. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
The Oh So Lovely Talk Show. The Oh So Lovely Talk Show.
So lovely.